Good Wednesday morning. I have been preaching from the book of Mark over the past couple of weeks, and the verses that we're going to be looking at for this weekend, I want to share just a couple of them. Jesus is being emphasized as a healer in these texts, and so from Mark chapter 1, verse 29, as soon as they left the synagogue, they entered the house of Simon and Andrew with James and John. So this is Jesus and 4 of his disciples. Now, Simon's mother-in-law was in bed with a fever, and they told him about her at once. He came and took her by the hand and lifted her up. Then the fever left her, and she began to serve them. A couple of interesting points about this is that we don't know how sick Simon's mother-in-law is. She has a fever. It's obviously bad enough to where she is unable to do her daily responsibilities. And so Jesus goes to lift her up. And some versions of the Bible say that he raised her up, and then that the fever left and she began to serve them. So the idea of lifting her up, raising her up, it's the same language that is used in other parts of the Gospels where Jesus does miracles of raising people who have died back to life, that he raised them up. And it's the same language used when he is describing his own future death and resurrection. The raising up is a resurrection. It is coming to new life. And it says that the fever left her and she began to serve them. The serving is more than just helping to prepare them a meal. It also means that she is now able to serve in the ministry, in Jesus' ministry. So the idea of raising up, it is an act of healing. It heals a wound, one that is preventing someone from being whole. And that can be physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. We all need healing of some sort. And throughout Jesus' ministry, it says that he is forgiving people and that he is healing people. And forgiveness and healing work hand in hand. They are both connected to one another. And I think, how divided we are as a people, not just as a nation or as a world, but even in our own families, in our own communities. And if we were to forgive one another, to be able to reconcile with one another, we could resurrect to new life. Think of how different the world would be if we were finding reasons to have things in common with one another, to support one another and lift each other up, rather than to tear each other down. I know for myself, I can use some heart healing because I'll be honest, the division that we have in our nation is it weighs heavy on my heart and on my mind, on my spirit as a pastor. The message of Jesus doesn't take the sides of Republicans or Democrats. The truth of Jesus is beyond both political parties. And man, if we would make that message of Jesus, for those of us who call ourselves Christians, if the message of Jesus was actually our priority over our politics, just think of how different our world would be. And so that is one of the things that I need healing for. And this morning I want to challenge you. I want to ask, if there was one thing that you could do to transform our communities, our nation, or our world, what would it be? I think for me, it would be about having people respect one another as fellow human beings, without judgment based on a category. You belong to this category or to that category. To see each other as loved children of God and let's be able to respect one another and have dialogue with one another for the best, rather than finding reasons to separate ourselves. What would be the one thing that you would change if you had the ability to influence change in your family, your community, or the world? Let's work together, shall we, to follow this Jesus and to seek healing, not only for others, but even for ourselves, so that we might feel peace. God bless you. Have a great rest of your week. Goodbye.